Good morning, Lionhearts. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said well. I'm doing well too. Now, if you remember a few vlogs ago, we went out and did a tour of Beverly Hills. Well, everyone seemed to love that vlog, so today we're gonna go hit another street and show you some more celebrity homes in Beverly Hills. Daze with Jordan the Lion, and that little guy right there begins now. Good job, brother. Everybody always loves seeing you, Jaw. Hey, Jaw, do you want to show people your face once? Hey, Jaw, what's cracking today? Okay. So the other day when we did our tour in Beverly Hills, we hit Alpine Drive. Today we're gonna hit Bedford Drive. Look at this crew. There he goes. Let's do some exploring. So here we are at our first house today, 512 Bedford. This was the home of the it girl, Clara Bow. Now, how she got that name was that she was in a movie called It, where she played a shop girl, and she just won everybody's heart over in that movie, and she became kind of a woman who personified the Roaring 20s or the jazz age. She became very, very famous and became one of the biggest draws in film at the time. For a couple of years they said that they would have her meet with investors because she was pretty much guaranteed money if she was in something. And she had a pretty big career. I mean, to go down into history as personifying an entire time in movies is pretty amazing. Now, she did 46 silent movies and 11 talking pictures, and eventually she married Rex Bell and he became a senator, so she became the wife of a senator. She ended up living out her days in Nevada as a rancher, and she did one final film called Hoopla that was released in 1933. Said at her apex of stardom, she would get 45,000 fan letters a month. Isn't that insane? She died of a heart attack at the age of 60. The it girl, Clara Bow. And if you want to see any more on my channel, she had an it girl cafe that I vlogged over on Vine Street. Clara Bow's front door. Sorry, I said Rex Bell was a senator. He was actually lieutenant governor of Nevada, so she was the wife of the lieutenant governor. Now our next house is on the 600 block of Bedford. So this house was the former home of the Chiquita Banana, the Brazilian bombshell Carmen Miranda. Carmen Miranda was Portuguese born, but was popularly known as Brazilian and became this Brazilian bombshell. She was like the queen of the samba and always was kind of known for those fruit basket hats that she always wore. I guess how part of that came about was that before she was an actress, she worked in a hat boutique, so she always had a fondness for those hats, but she became famous as a singer, dancer, and that's actually how I became a fan of the Marx Brothers. Was I think it was Copacabana was the first thing that I had seen Groucho Marx on like one of those Sunday morning movies, and he was starring in that movie with Carmen Miranda, and I just thought he was great. I thought the movie was great, and that kind of turned me on to a lot of the older films before I was watching a lot of older films. Pretty beautiful house, that's for sure. Chiquita Banana, yeah, that's a great one. Sadly, Carmen Miranda ended up passing away of a heart attack. She, working all the way till the end, she was doing a show with Jimmy Durante and had been filming with him that day, and throughout the day, apparently, one time she kind of lost her strength and dropped to one knee. And Jimmy said, hey, we can find a replacement. You don't need to go through with this. And I can even take your lines. But she insisted on muscling through. She, after the show, ended up taking some of the cast and crew back to her place and had a party. And then after the party, went upstairs and was going into the bathroom to have a bath and everything. And apparently was walking out with a little makeup compact in her hand and had a heart attack and passed away in her room. Now this house also belonged to a mega star for their day. This was the home of Jeanette McDonald, who made her name as an opera singer and a singer of musicals. Did a lot of duets with Maurice Chevalier and Nelson Eddy, and what a great career she had. I've seen a couple of movies she had done with the great Clark Gable in the 1930s. They were just amazing movies. It's a pretty great house too. She had an amazing voice. She was one of the top stars of MGM for the musical comedies and musicals of those days. So this next house that we're gonna see, not this one but the one next door, was the one-time home of one of the greatest comedians of my lifetime, Steve Martin, the jerk, Navin Johnson. Also well known for his music, his banjo band. Let's see if we can go to the other side and get a little bit better view. But of course known for Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, and of course, like I said, the jerk, the man with two brains. He was the Pink Panther, Planes, Trains, Automobiles, all those. Roxanne. Yeah, this was one time his home. And he was actually born in the Southern California area, raised out here, and worked at Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. So, kind of see a little bit of the property through there. Now this house, pretty much catty corner from Steve Martin's, was once Stan Laurel's house. Now that's interesting because Stan lived in a lot of different places because he apparently liked to cheat on his wife a lot. So he had various stash houses for his mistresses, and then eventually moved one of his mistresses into the house with his wife. And eventually Stanley would live in hotels, and he had a house in the valley because he and Ollie had a little workshop there, little place that they would work out some of their comedy routines. And Hal Roach actually didn't live too far from Stan here. So this is one of the Stan Laurel houses of Laurel and Hardy fame. Now this house right here was one-time actor Adolph Menjou's house. And Adolph did tons and tons and tons of movies. He was a very popular character actor. Got started, I believe, in like 1916 and was doing silent films all the way through talking pictures. And apparently he was a very, very well-known, staunch Republican in town. And they said he would always talk about it too. He was like terrified that if a Democrat got elected, it was basically the equivalent of socialism. So they said he used to hide his money in safety deposit boxes all over town, and in the fear that Harry Truman was going to get elected, and was always very paranoid about his money. Now this house we've vlogged once before as well. This was the former home of Lana Turner, postman on Always Rings Twice. She was a femme fatale, had this reputation for being kind of like the bad girl in those movies. And this was the house that I vlogged because this was where her daughter stabbed Lana's boyfriend, Johnny Stompanato, to death in. And there was a lot of speculation because it was a domestic abuse situation where her daughter was jumping in to help and defend Lana, that there was always speculation that perhaps Lana actually did the stabbing herself, and that her daughter took the rap so that Lana wouldn't go to jail and there wouldn't be any backlash on her career. No one ever really will know, but Lana had a very, very long career. Made a lot of really great movies. Imitation of Life's one of them. Yep, that's the famous house. Sadly, Lana ended up passing away from throat cancer that they discovered she had while she was filming Falcon Crest at the end of her life. Also, famous television and game show producer Merv Griffin lived in this house. Alright, now we're skipping the 800 block and we're going up to the 900 block for one house. Please, Mr. Giraffe, don't take it personal that I'm not vlogging your house. Now take a look at this beautiful little house. Not all that small, but it's very quaint for the neighborhood, and a lot of famous people have lived here. Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner lived here. At one time, Greta Garbo lived here. At one time, Anthony Quinn lived here, and also Rex Harrison. Look at all the beautiful rose bushes here. I hate to bring it up, but if Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner lived here, there was probably a lot of noise coming out of this house, because if they weren't loving, they were fighting, that's for sure. They were known for getting pretty into it in both regards. Well, my friends, we're gonna call it a day. Thank you, Nicole Dodson and Michelle Martinez, for becoming my newest Patreons. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all next time. I hope you enjoyed this tour of Bedford Drive in Beverly Hills. Have a great night, and goodbye.